This is the Flabbergasted Podcast, where we just can't believe you haven't seen it.
Every episode, we discuss a movie that one of us has seen and the other hasn't.
And sometimes that neither of us have seen.
Follow us on Instagram
At Flabberpod.
and subscribe in your podcast app of choice. I'm your host, Jessica.
I'm your host, Rogi. Let's get to it. Today we are discussing the 2008 Wachowski sister film, Speed Racer. IMDb says, young driver, Speed Racer, aspires to be champion of the racing world with the help of his family and his high-tech Mach 5 automobile. This stars Emile Hirsch, Matthew Fox, and Christina Ricci. I am your host, Rogi. I'm joined today by special first-time guest, friend of the pod, Joseph Nishimoto.
Hi, I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to talk about Speed Racer. It's one of my favorite movies to watch for fun. Just very enjoyable. Great time for everyone, I think. Well, I guess we'll find out today.
You may potentially recognize Joseph's voice from a late 2018, early 2019 episode of A Muggle's Perspective. Is that true?
I was on one episode, yes, and I was a muggle that did not read the book.
Yeah.
And I just came in and was kind of talking about it.
It was great.
I think I watched part of the movie at that point, not even the full movie
Nice.
for the book that we were discussing at the time.
But you've seen the full movie Speed Racer.
I have multiple times now.
Do you have any stories about the first time you watched it or kind of what your background is with it?
Yeah, so I think it came out like when I was in high school. So I was the driver for our band of friends because I had an Astro van. So obviously, 8 people can fit in that.
Oh, so it wasn't a DD situation?
Not usually, but sometimes. Anyways, so we would go to the cheap theater, the dollar theater. So it was a couple of months after it came out originally that we went to go see it. And so then we went to see it. I had a pretty strict parents growing up. And so curfew was one of their big rules that we had to make sure we followed. And so the movie, I think, started at like 9. So I had to be home by like 11:30. So, there's a 2-hour movie or something like that. So it was like, okay, plenty maybe it was a little less than 2 hours because with all the previews and stuff, I was like, we can get home in time. So we timed it out, made sure it was good. We all agreed, communicated with my parents, it was all good. So we're watching the movie, enjoying it. It's a good time, as we'll discuss. But the last scene, there's a very particular scene that's seared into my brain because the first time I saw it, it was during that time. We watched like 10 more minutes, and then it flipped back to that scene and started over that from that point.
Yeah.
So that movie grew by an extra 10 minutes.
Right.
Because I watched 10 minutes of it. It went back, skipped back, and then watched it again.
Eating into your buffer.
It is into my entire buffer. I come to find out. So the whole time after that's happening, I'm just like, well, you already know about this about me. I sweat regardless, but I'm just like nervous sweating, sitting in my theater seat. As my friends are enjoying this movie, I'm like, do I need to tell them we need to leave early? Like, what do I do in this situation? And it was like, it's the last 20, 30 minutes of the movie. So it's like climax or like finishing the last race and that kind of stuff. So I'm like, I can't really just tell them we need to leave. Like, we're almost done. And so then, it's 11:30. My parents are asleep at this point. So I'm not going to call them to tell them because I would so I'm like, I think I can make it home in time. And so we pile in my car. I'm like, okay, guys, we need to go. I'm dropping people off. And then I finally get home.
They're dropping people off because you're like, the clock says that I could get home in time, but the dropping people off is going to kill you.
No, of course not. Yeah. And yeah, so I'm dropping people off. I'm, getting home as fast as possible. Definitely speeding, which very apropos for the movie that we just watched.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
And so I get home. It's like 11:45. At the time, I had to make sure I woke up my parents when I got home so they know I got home safely. Because they do care about me, even though they are very strict. And so I woke them up, and the next day I find out that I cannot hang out with my friends for 2 months because I was home 15 minutes late.
Woo.
Or I couldn't go out with them, I guess. They could come over, I could go to their house or something, but I couldn't be the driver.
They were like, we sat down, we talked about it, and we decided this is a reasonable consequences for your actions.
Yeah, it's
because you should have called, you should have You should have left the theater early.
Yeah. We're my family and I still in this way. Like, if you commit to something, you just do it. So it's more of it was more of an honesty thing, less of a like, because my curfew changed depending on like what we had decided, but we had decided 11:30 that night, and I didn't, own up to that responsibility.
And there's no such thing as mitigating circumstances.
What I have described would not pass for a mitigating circumstance in my parents' eyes, which I can understand.
Medium fair.
Yeah. Like, no, if someone was dying, obviously they'd be like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, oh, you just want to watch a silly car movie, like that's not really, floating the boat. I think there was other circumstances prior to that too, of like not being on the best terms with my parents at the time. But that one sticks out in my memory. So Speed Racer, even after that, still one of my favorite movies. So
not because there's no like, and that was my most rebellious, it's not, it doesn't like
close. I think it might have been, I was a very good kid. So I was very close to like the most trouble I've ever gotten into with my parents.
Wow.
So that maybe, I don't think so, but I don't see it as a point of pride, but it is a great, great movie.
I feel like I had almost the exact opposite adolescence at that age. No, there were times I would get home really late, and I mean, my parents would never have known. They were just like, oh, wow, like we've got kids that aren't out absolutely hooliganing it up. Like they're at these good kids' friend's house, or we're the house that the good kids would go to. And we would have, what was it? There were other parents who would tell my parents like, yeah, I was like, oh, my daughter's not home yet. And then when she would get home, I'd be like, where were you? Like at midnight when we went to bed, you weren't home. And they're like, oh, we were at Rogie's house. And they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Gotcha. That's understood. No worries there kind of thing. So that is Oh, the movie restarted, and so it was going to be 10 minutes. My parents would be like, why are you telling me this? We don't care. This movie has just never been on my radar. I mean, 2008, I wasn't going to the movies a ton, really.
Yeah, I would say I was not flabbergasted that you hadn't watched this movie. It's not really a roguey coded movie by any means.
Right, yeah.
So it's more like I just want people to watch this movie because it is, I think, just like movie candy is what I would call it. I had this like as one of my notes. It's just like, I feel like the plot almost is in service of the set pieces at times.
Yeah, for sure.
Than the opposite way. And I'm a sucker for those movies. I'm not like, this is great cinema necessarily, but I'm like, this is just fun to watch. And I do think this movie has more of a plot than like, because like Transformers 1, like, is kind of in that category for me. Like, I like watching robots punch things that punch each other. Like, that's fun. And I honestly, I think there's an I don't remember the whole story for Transformers because I don't care. I just want to watch it, to watch the other people, to watch the robots punch each other. And so, in that sense, this is kind of in the same category, but I do think it's like a couple steps above like a Transformers where it's like, oh, there was a plot there? I think the plot's fine in this movie.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, you're absolutely right that that's kind of a long-running topic on this podcast, is that everyone's got their types of movies, and CGI, big monster, or like just like action, no plot, like just isn't really what I go in for. But I've seen The Meg. I've seen two different The Meg movies. Is that possible?
2 different Meg movies.
Okay, I think I've seen 2 of them.
Big Jason guy,
I'm
Statham.
not a huge Statham head, but I think I have seen both Meg movies in theaters. And I would agree that this was better than that. And it had more of a plot and stuff, so. It was less. It less existed for just the point of doing the action.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, the only other, it's Wachowski, right? It's not Wachowski.
I'm pretty sure.
The only other that I've seen is the first Matrix movie. And I mean, obviously, one of the most famously action-based, changed the action genre, and has been extremely influential about action, and
but still has a plot.
It is more. I mean, the plot is maybe more influential in terms of like people talking about like Red Pill or like just Neo as like the person that he is. So
which Red Pill means everyone knows it's the same thing. For whoever says
everyone
that.
Red Pill. Everyone absolutely agrees on the
myself.
connotation of that phrase and uses it in the same context. I agree. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're right about why it makes sense that. And we didn't have, I mean, if there was a dollar theater, I would have been going to more movies, I think.
Sure.
But Joseph is, for listeners, from California.
True.
Big city vibes.
Yeah.
Not that you're like
more like
from
suburbia.
down. Yeah. But, I mean, how many people are Bellflower, right?
Yeah.
What's the population approximately?
I grew up in Lakewood. I don't know. Let me look.
I mean, it's going to be minimum 8 times that.
Yeah, but like at least once a summer, if not more, me and my high school friends, or even I think in junior high, we did a couple times with like church and stuff. Just like hopped on the metro and went to downtown LA, went to the Hollywood. Like, very accessible if I wanted to. So yeah, it's definitely able to go to the city. Yeah, my small suburb that was surrounded by many other suburbs was 80,000 people.
And and to you, that was just like, oh, I mean, like, you probably never heard of it. I'm from Lakewood.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, the closest town with 80,000 people in it, well, that's an hour away.
Yeah.
We always said 15,000 was what we called it. So, I mean, we would get to the drive-in.
Okay.
Eventually, we would
that's
go
2
to
for 1 usually, right?
Yes. I mean, that was like 40 minutes away, probably.
Sure.
There wasn't one in town, but we started going to that once a summer, probably. But that was more of like a family, like you're packing a cooler of PB&J's type of situation. It wasn't just like throwing the buddies in the car.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, like we did like for Harry Potter, like we would go for like specific certain events that we would try to do. So I did just get around to watching Speed Racer with you here recently, and I would love to talk about it. Do you have questions for me about my first time experience in Speed Racer?
Yeah, I think, well, I will say my critique of us watching it together, the format, was I feel like the colors, which you probably already noticed, but were not as vibrant as in like in the theaters, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure you already noticed, is very vibrant already on the format we watched,
yes.
But it's even more insane when it's in like high def.
You feel like there's a full psychedelic like overstimulation that I didn't quite get that experience of?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like when I came out of the theaters as a very sheltered,
stressed out
kid, I was like, oh, if I were to ever do like psychedelic drugs, I want to be watching this movie, or at least the last race scene. I was like, would that stress me out too much? Probably, but like just the insanity of it all is like, you don't get the full scope of it on the way that we watched it without being like, as many movies are, in the theater. It's just a different experience than when you're watching it at home. So,
which I'm definitely a proponent of.
Yeah.
I would say the movie that it reminded me most of from that kind of visual style of bright. Is it fair to call the colors like comic book forward almost?
Yeah. I mean, it's based, if people don't know, it's based on an anime.
Yes.
That might have been based on a comic book, but very much, I think, maybe a homage to that. Definitely like the stylistic choices of like the car and things like that were definitely motifs to that. The other question was, did you even like that aesthetic style? How did your brain process that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a little overwhelming. The thing it reminded me most of was a movie I haven't seen in a long time, which was Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
I have that in my notes too.
There's other movies that have just as many cuts and are quick, but not that are necessarily so color forward.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of overwhelmed because what I'm doing when I'm sitting down, especially IP I'm not familiar with, I'm trying to wrap my head around the plot. I'm like, okay, so this guy is a racer, and what do I need to know about him? What do I need to understand so that I can kind of appreciate the context of the crazy that I'm seeing?
Mm-hmm.
And Speed Racer's like, shut up,
right?
Stop. That's not what this is about. And so I was kind of struggling. I wasn't just like in the mindset of like, I just need to let this wash. I wasn't successfully just letting it wash over me, I think. So on a rewatch, on a better screen because we were
Well, your
at
screen is notoriously
my projector.
darker.
Yeah, it is darker. So we
So-
usually have to turn it up. We turn it up. It looks pretty good on like dynamic, but then if there's like a white forward shot,
Mhm.
then it's so washed out. Like it's ridiculous looking. When we saw Arrival, it was like there were scenes I couldn't see anything at all. So, and I think I said at the time, the other thing that it reminded me of, it was like, what if Wes Anderson did Scott Pilgrim?
Mm.
Because it was either every scene was race, or just like an extremely like positioned and choreographed, like people just like standing there in front of almost like a pretty straightforward. It was like the green screen was intentional. Like like you're not supposed to believe that
So over the
that the
top.
foreground is the same as the background because of the flying cars and stuff. And so it wasn't just like, oh, this is poorly done green screen. It's this world is disorienting, like perspective wise.
Yeah.
Like the foreground is just what's happening right here, and you're almost on. Like it's a little claustrophobic. Like
It kind of reminds me of
you can't stretch your
Floopy
arms out
Land or
that far.
Floopy World from Spy Kids. Are you familiar?
Okay, I've seen Spy Kids for sure. That is not the one where they go into a video game.
No. Although that is also a great one with the guy in it.
With the guy in it?
The guy.
Wait, okay, this isn't a Rachel saying, with that guy
No,
in it. The character's name is the guy?
Yes, and
Okay.
It's Elijah Wood.
We're going to have to... If you hadn't said that, and then we had watched Spy Kids 3 and I had done no prep going into it, that's Elijah Wood from me would have just absolutely torn the house down. We still can watch that eventually, but
It's the one with the thumb people. If you're familiar.
The people who say "Floop is a madman, help us, save us" backwards.
Yes.
And that's
like
all I remember about
his
it.
world where
Antonio
he's like,
Banderas.
He's like moving around and flying around. Like that's
he's sort of like a Teletubbies sort of vibe.
Yeah, but just over the top and cartoonish to the nth degree. I like that. Like it's not only just like movie candy, but even just like eye candy, if you will, of just like, or brain candy of just like, oh, this is brain rot, but in a movie form. Like where you have like the Subway Surfer and like the actual like movie.
Right.
Like that is kind of this whole movie like vibe.
It made the world, in terms of like, we weren't there. The scene with background characters is when they are going through the factory. And then there's obviously the crowd, but we're super zoomed in. The shots are tight, are like really zoomed in on our on the family.
And even the crowd, when they go to like announcer 1, announcer 2, like they show the crowd, but then they zoom in on specific people too.
Yes, and they're there briefly, and and the people's faces are large in frame. I mean, even when we don't get, it's not a lot of, we're half a mile up and we're watching the cars zip around each other, which is a cool thing to do in another context. It's a lot of like, the camera is pressed up against Speed Racer's face while he's in the cockpit or whatever you call it, like in the driver's seat. And so it made the world, when I say it made the world feel small, that's not like derogatory necessarily. It made me be like, these are the 9 people that matter. And that's all. And like, that's who matters. It's not necessarily about something. I mean, it might be like allegorically about something bigger, especially as like a Wachowski film. And I guess the exception to all of this is in the flashbacks is Baby Speed Racer.
Yeah.
That's shot differlittle. It's less glossy. In my recollection, I would say it's less glossy.
Yeah. I mean, a lot more practical. Like even his little push cart he has is like very boxy, very like not the smooth lines, and then he's going through like, I think physical like flowers at one point. They're like getting sprayed out of some kind of cannon, I'm sure, for effects like in the air.
It's almost like that was shot. It's almost like they're trying to say that was back where the world was real, and then we had to astroturf everything and make everything. And so that's why everything's sci-fi glossy. And this is the world we're living in now, is this sci-fi glossy one. It reminded me of like the Giver vibes a little bit.
Just like a new perspective on everything.
When things were the color saturation just in the world was different. And the texture of the world was different, and because now we have this more artificial version, which is just interesting. I mean, it's just like, it's clearly, I can tell that I'm like, this is a cinematographic choice. This is directorial choices being made here. And so now I get to think about why they're making those choices.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that before, but that is true. I agree.
And it's telling me that I think we're seeing the story from the perspective of Speed Racer, not like literally first person, or that we're only in scenes with him, but we are only seeing people that are important to him only say things that are important to him. It's like we took, because there's very little day to day. There's very little of like, we're just relaxing and kind of getting to know the Racer family. It's, let's take the three most consequential years of this famous person's life and condense them down to truly hard cut to the second the important thing starts to the second the important thing ends. And that's, it's like, it's concentrated. It's like a like concentrated movie that's happening, like plug it into my veins kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think so obviously that kind of goes along with what I was saying of just like it being brain candy, right? It just like keeps giving you more. But I also like that it doesn't treat you like an idiot either. Like the relationships that it doesn't, there is a little bit of spoon feeding, like some of the, but generally you're supposed to understand between the mom and Speed, like how that relationship has been forming. Trixie, like just being there, like all this kind of stuff it's not like, oh, you don't have the scene where, I guess you'd have the scene where Trixie comes to the house the first time, but it's not, you don't get like a montage of them like, oh, you're having over for dinner now. And like, cause like, where's Trixie's parent? You know, like we don't care about her family or anything like that. So yeah, to your point,
well, that's because it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. What matters is how she relates to Speed Racer, right?
Yeah. But all the what's the word I'm looking for? The unspoken things and stuff, maybe it's because it's not important, and that's probably, I mean, that's definitely part of it, but also because like, oh, we'll just say things and you'll figure out that this...
It's show, don't tell.
Yes,
100%. Right? You appreciate the lack of heavy-handed exposition about that.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which I think the main example of that is... And then after our brother died, John Goodman was sad. And then we both went in and we watched this movie. And they're just saying, and that reminded us that we love racing. Like they hand you that. Like that's this movie that you're referring to, I assume. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
But even that, I think what makes that more forgivable to me or less annoying is because you have a lot of time before that to understand that relationship. And that's kind of like the nail in the coffin, if you will. Like you're picking up those clues about what happened to the older brother and what happened and why, like you're already getting things about why they don't want Speed to like overcommit to this whole thing, to like make racing his whole life because they saw and then you get the flashback scene of like, oh, we got to watch this race together. And so
it's not exposition that's giving you new information. It's exposition that's just filling in the why and giving you a little more context of something that you already knew. Yeah.
Right. So it just feels a little less babying to me, or like, it makes you kind of earned it. And then you kind of get the whole cutscene, if you will, of like, okay, I figured out this mystery. And now it's like you're playing a mystery video game. You put all the clues together and then it cuts to, okay, yep, here is the night of the murder. We get to see it all. So it's kind of the same thing as like, oh yeah, they're afraid of this. The relationship was strained here. And now it's better for some reason. And then you kind of get it all. And then you get the final masterpiece. So
speaking of John Goodman, that was I think the actor that I was most familiar with coming into this.
Susan Sarandon. Also pretty big.
A name I'm very familiar with. I don't think I could name a ton of Susan Sarandon movies I've seen off the top of my head. With John Goodman, the baggage of John Goodman it's not a bad thing. I'm just used to him being, he's such a big man. He's an imposing screen presence.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, he's the dad. Like, when are they going to fight? When's he going to yell at him? When's he going to, the camera's going to be angled so that he's looking down at him and he's going to put him in his place. And he kind of didn't do that. It was kind of like, this is John Goodman's his dad and he loves him and, cares about him.
Well, this kind of leads into a different question I had, or a different like topic, was main characters. So this is maybe a very elementary understanding of it because I think I was in 8th grade when my English teacher was talking about main characters. And what she said, how she defined main characters, is whoever changes the most in the plot is the main character.
Interesting.
So I think Pops, John Goodman, is the main character of Speed Racer.
Based on that definition.
Correct.
Yeah. He's not, but you wouldn't argue that he's the protagonist.
No. They'd all be the same thing.
Interesting. I don't know that I've heard that exact definition of main character. Because it's just so easy to conflate it with protagonist.
Mm-hmm. So the antagonist can be the main character. It could be anybody, right? It just has to.
He changes the most.
Mm-hmm.
Who's our top 5? The monkey's got to be on there. He's got an arc.
Let's see. So
Racer X.
There's Racer X.
Literally, he changes.
Not during the movie though. Not during the plot.
The word changes.
Not during the movie though.
You see it.
Yeah, but not.
He
during,
gets facial reconstruction. He gets looking different, Surge.
That's true. He is the most different physically.
Yeah. By a definition of the word change.
So obviously Speed Racer, but honestly, I was thinking about it when I was just thinking about like what to talk about here. And he honestly doesn't change really at all through the whole movie.
No, he's
consistently
validated in his obsession with racing and his belief that he can be the best.
And obviously there's some conflict or like he has to like think through his convictions, but never really changes. It's just always like we're racing for racing, and that's good.
The tag on his story is follow your dreams. Yeah, and consider the costs. But if you've never give up, no one achieves things after giving up, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And then Trixie. So I'm just kind of going through the characters here, just thinking through them. Trixie, kind of a little bit flat for a character in my opinion. Kind of is just like supportive of Speed most of the time.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really do much. I think she's fun character and stuff, and I think he's acted well and everything, but it's kind of there. There's Mom. I think I forget if it was you or Rachel.
Those their real names?
Yeah, it was like Pop and Mom, and they're like, that's their names. Like, yes, Pop and Mom is their names of the mom and dad of the Racer family.
We're getting just pure uncut cocaine of like movie.
Yeah.
Like we're never going to pretend. That's what you're saying. You're like, shut up. Like you don't need context.
Right.
This is Pop and this is Mom, and they are Racer. Their last name is Racer, and that's fine.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's how it was in the anime, or like they didn't even have names or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure.
And so they're just like, do we want to add layers? Like to your point, no. Why? There's no reason to. Racer X, which we kind of discussed, and then Pops. Oh, I guess Spritle as well.
Spritle. What's their grease monkey, like the guy that's older than
Sparky?
Sparky. Is he a racer?
No, he's a mechanic pitman.
You misunderstand.
Oh, is he a
capital
family?
R racer family member?
I did misunderstand. I do not think
you
he
misunderstand.
Is.
That's not to blame. You're not to blame for misunderstanding. Is he a capital R racer?
I do not believe so. I think he's more just been around. But yeah, from those characters, and I guess there's the antagonists too. There's the what's his name? The Royalton.
Yes,
he's the main antagonist. There's a bunch of like other racers, but they're kind of more set pieces more than anything, in my opinion.
They're kind of more stereotypes, more than anything.
Yeah.
There's Japanese racer and
which there is like 2 Japanese companies, and those do maybe racistly get confusing when they're talking about like I'm sorry,
those are 2 different companies?
Yeah.
The whole thing, okay, I can explain the plot of Speed Racer, and it's that Royalton wants Speed Racer on his team so that way when he wins with his turbo engine, then his and Yokohama's companies are the only ones that make turbo engines, so their stock prices will go up because everyone's going to realize they need a turbo engine in their turbo engine.
Yes.
And so that's only Royalton and Japanese company.
Japanese company 1.
Japanese company 1.
Japanese company 2.
Togokan.
Is Togokan the one with?
That's the one. That's the Rain family. That's Rain's family company. Oh, there's Musha Motors.
Yes, Musha is the one with the engine, I believe.
Okay.
Togokan is the one that he races with.
Yeah.
And
because he's the son of the CEO or something.
Yes.
Of Musha?
No, of Togokan.
Okay.
It's a separate company.
Don't agree. What? What's Musha then?
And their stock went up, Togokan, and so that's why they get mad, because the Racer family was used to drive the stock price up of Togokan, so that when Royalton bought them, he had to buy them at a much higher price. Remember the phone call where he's like,
I remember him buying them at a high price.
He's like, 25. He's like, I'm going to go somewhere else. And then it's like, fine, whatever. They're 29, whatever you're asking. Yeah. And then, so that's why they did that race.
Because the cross-country race.
They also owed money to that mob.
They did owe money. Okay, right. They did owe money to the mob. That Racer X tried to defeat in the beginning when they were in an 18-wheeler.
Racer X
with the
Piranhas.
Piranhas.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So that's plot A, because the reason that the what's the organization, the investigative, that detector inspector is part of? Inspector detector.
It's race detection fraudulence or something.
So that company that organization wants information from Togokan about the mob and about the mob's connection to Royalton. And the only way to do that is to help them win the race. So that's why they get Speed Racer to race with them to win that race, because then they would get information about the mob and Royalton.
Oh, he had a folder that he was going to give them.
Yes. They did not give him that folder, and they only did it, they find out, besides the daughter, did it in order to drive up the stock price so they can make a bunch of money and pay off the mob and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That was plot A.
Plot A.
Underneath that plot A is also the main, I guess that's plot B. Plot A is
the emotional plot is the Racer family.
Yes.
Because Speed Racer's older brother, Acceleration Racer.
Racer X, I don't know his.
I knew he was, but he used to be something else.
Oh, Rex.
Rex
obviously.
Racer.
No, Racer X, Rex.
Of course. Oh, sure. X. Racer X. He was a really good racer who went, he started getting too violent. He was too crash.
But only, well, spoiler, only because he wanted to he was approached by, I want to look at the
mob.
No.
Togokan.
No.
The Inspector Detector.
Yeah, Inspector Detector.
And so then he staged his own death so that he could get face change surgery so that he could inspect or detect better. Because people didn't know who he was.
Well, don't get confusing, because Inspector Detector is a person.
I said Inspector Detect, the verb. That's what Inspector Detector does. The Inspector detects. And Speed Racer wants to follow in his brother's footsteps, but his family doesn't want him to because it's dangerous because their son died.
Not the same footsteps. He wants to just be a great racer.
Yes.
Not go into the Inspector Detector
But my
business.
brother was the best racer of all time before me, kind of vibes.
Yeah, what did you think about, there was that first race where he intentionally did not beat Rex's record.
I mean, I love a story about two brothers. Yeah. And the younger brother looks up to the older brother. Yeah. That's how many of us there are, too. Dreams. Yeah. Imagine Jacob looking up to me. Couldn't be us. I mean, physically he does. That's the main thing. So I appreciate that. It's very much, it told me that that the main thing I need to know about Speed Racer's psyche is that he feels like he's living in the shadow of his brother. Mm-hmm. And that's something he needs to be trying to live up to. Mm-hmm. And we got baby, just the dumbest kid alive, baby Speed Racer.
Yes.
When he was like, 1 + 1 is racer. That's the answer. Like, that was his whole deal. And it's like, it's really, the phrase nominative determinism? Like, what you name someone is, like, if you name your kid Baker, they're more likely to become a baker or whatever. Uh-huh. He was just like, Speed Racer, Speed Racer, Speed Racer. Like, he's like a Pokemon. That's all he needs to know.
I don't want to stand on this too long because it's, it's a hot button issue potentially. But I do think Speed Racer's child acting was not good. Trixie, so good. I thought
Trixie played by Alex from Modern Family.
I believe so.
Yes, we looked it up.
Yes, she's good. Speed Racer's acting, he did not have very much to do, and he did not do it well. But They're children, so it's
no,
totally
it was
fine.
intentional. It was intentional. They were like, you need to look like the derpiest little idiot. Because then everyone will be like, that makes sense why he's fine putting himself in danger and it's so single-minded.
They're going meta. They're like, you can't act. You have to only be able to race. That's all you can do.
We are open auditions. Bring your kid. We are going. I'll tell you right now, we're going to choose the one that's most obsessed with racing. It's going to have nothing to do with their acting skills. That is the most realistic depiction that we are looking for. That's funny.
Anyways, but no. So I'm I thought that was interesting how dumb, like, if he didn't race, what else would he do?
Yes,
truly.
Right. Because Sparky has skills. Like Sparky's, we don't really see Speed working on the car. Pop does.
It does. Yeah, I guess. But in the economy that we live in Speed Racer world, it reminds me a lot of like cars in the sense that racing is their economy.
Yes, right.
Like,
imagine a world where it's NASCAR, but just multiplied by the Super Bowl every week.
Yeah.
Like in terms of popularity.
Yeah. And you don't see any other jobs. Maybe you see like a mailman or something, but like you don't see to your point, nothing else is important.
We can name all the jobs. Racer, inspector, detector. Mob.
For racing.
Mob.
Racing only though is like the inspector detective's job. Racing mob.
Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership,
CEO,
factory / own, yeah. I mean, but all of that, they're factoring mostly
only cars.
Stuff.
Only cars. Stuff.
I think Royalton has some other stuff going on, don't they? Candy. Oh, there's another job. Chimpanzee.
Candy restocker on helicopters.
Yeah, for sure. You got to restock. You got to keep the candy stocked because Chimpanzee. I really wanted the kid playing Spritle to be Beans from Even Stevens. Just like time frame wise, like
no, they don't have the same face even.
They don't, but
I don't know.
But
his picture on IMDb is from Speed Racer, so I don't know if he did anything
his picture
else.
on Wikipedia. His filmography. Oh, he did a bunch of other stuff. He was on Conan once. Wizards of Waverly Place for several years.
Oh.
He was on 3 episodes.
Okay,
he's the kid from The League. Oh, I love The League. That's so funny.
But just from 2
Jersey
episodes.
Girl, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He wasn't in anything good. He was never in anything good. He was a producer on the short film The Day I Finally Killed Myself. And also acted as Marty. He also produced Sex Guaranteed. And was, of course, an actor in it. I kind of want him to be Beans. He and Chim Chim, it was just so pure.
Yeah.
The communication was so good. And I love a family that rides for their boy. You know, this family, Sparky and Spritle, they're turning on the TV to the channel with a cross-country race that Pop doesn't want them to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
But that was more for their love of racing, I think, more than their love of speed. Because they didn't know speed was in them.
I guess that's true. I mean, like, if Speed had been like, hey, I need you guys to go infiltrate the factory. Yeah. I need you to put on, like, you know, overalls or whatever and, like, pretend to be factory workers. They would have done it. You know, they were all about it. And they fought for him. You know, we had the big like, Anchorman-esque fight. In
the mountains, yeah. Yeah, that's when you're talking about John Goodman being intimidating or imposing, it reminded me of when he was fighting the ninja.
Sure. In the hotel.
Yes. Like, that's from below. I think that was when he's like has his wrestling ring and all that kind of stuff, has that shot in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has his moment, but yeah, not for any of the main characters.
Yeah, it's like that's not, we're not told that's part of his personality is being big, Mr. Mean, intimidating guy necessarily. It's just like, well, in a fight scene, we have John Goodman, you know, let's just have him be big. You know?
Yeah, and that's what as I was thinking through the characters, I think he moves from being like against his son's dreams and passions for safety of his family. I don't think it's ever selfish. His concern and his attitude towards Speed's dreams.
I mean, there's broadly selfishness, just like I've been hurt, I don't want to be hurt again.
That's fair,
like,
yeah.
Do the, you know, give up part of your dream for the safety of my emotions. I'm not saying that's like a bad or evil selfishness, but it is him thinking about himself and his feelings for sure.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly the movie is him realizing that realizing that it's more in the service of
Because he's
himself.
the main character.
Exactly.
Are you familiar with the episode of Community where the gang does the Glee Club Christmas show?
Yes.
And he's like, well, after this, we got to go to sectionals and then regionals and then super sectionals and then state and then semi-regionals or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And there was some of that in this movie for me because the first race, you're like, this is where his brother raced and like, this is it. And this is the race. And then it's going to be family dynamics and there's going to be some racing. And they're like, no, this is the race. And now this is the race. But wait, in order to get to that race, they got to qualify in this other, the most famous race in the world.
Yeah.
So I was a little taken out of like trying to follow what was happening by some of that stuff.
Yeah. I think
We
if I
just kept
remember
trying to
correctly,
raise the
there's
stakes.
4 races that matter, that are shown even. There's the first one, and that gets him
Like just onto the circuit.
Yeah, and that's like his local racetrack. That's where
Yeah.
that's where his brother took him in the flashbacks.
Yes.
Then there's
Insane. He put that kid behind the wheel of a thing going 300 miles an hour or whatever.
They do have those little like bubbly things. The bubbly. No one dies in this whole movie? I don't know if you noticed that.
I didn't.
Maybe someone dies.
They're kind
no
of
one
like
in the
shields.
race does. Yeah, it goes around them.
Well, then why did they think Rex died?
They say it malfunctioned in the
Interesting.
movie. Anyways, so there's that one. And then there's like a beachy one. And that one is the one that would get him qualified for the big race, the final race.
But they did the latch on him and crashed him.
Correct.
Okay, and then
The
they
spear
do
hook.
cross country race.
Oh, no, they don't have to.
So
Do they have to do a spear hook on the beach race? They do, yes.
I
But they
think
don't
so.
get, they don't get
Because that's
caught,
where
though.
they introduce it, so that
Yes.
way it pays off when we see it again later.
Yes. So then that one, and they're like, oh, well, I guess I can't go to the. That's after he finds out about the fixing and all that. And so he's like, oh, everything is meaningless.
Because in the 1960s, in the original races, then the ones that they loved, it turned out they were fixed.
Right. And all the 1 cent.
Yeah.
And so then they go to the crazy
They have to
one.
backdoor cross country cannonball
Yes.
run race.
Yes.
So that way they
Let's
can get an automatic bid into the championship race.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So that's the only way to get another.
If you don't qualify by points.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So, take a break of that. And then there's a 4th one, the Grand Prix or whatever, the last race. But the 3rd race is the one we spend the most time at.
Right. Because, I mean, you sleep in the middle of it.
Yeah. It's a 2-day race. And there's a cast of very fun racers, in my opinion. And during that one, that's where you get to see them getting bribed in different ways. And that's how also you see the connection with Royalton and the mob, because the mob's doing all the bribing,
Yes.
but Royalton's like
He's
the one
working
funding
for
them.
Royalton.
Yeah. So one of my questions was, which of those like offensive and defensive strategies of the racers did you find like made you smile the most? Like, because there's like full beehives being launched at each other. There's giant like mace balls being sprung at them. There's like of the Foxy Racers, I think is what their names were. They have like an eyelash spear that comes out of there, like a eyelash mascara applicator spear that comes out of their wheels. Was there any of those that were like, this is fun, or if you're like this is too childish for me?
No, I think, I don't know how fulfilling my answer is going to be here. Because what sticks out to me when I'm watching that is watching Speed Racer. What I'm interested in at that point is, okay, his car doesn't have all of these bombs that like blow up the other cars like everyone else's car does. So they're going to have to be really defensive and evasive. And so that's Speed and Racer X and Tugakan are all more like traditionally skilled racers. Like we're going to win because of we're so good at the timing, and they're doing like jumps and like passing each other in midair so other people coconut head crash into each other and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'm as the dumb watcher the first time I watch it. I think if I watch it again, I could give a little bit more attention to, okay, so what's this guy's strategy and what are these guys' strategies? But I'm like, gimmicks bad, racing good. I'm watching good guys. I'm hoping. I don't know if Speed Racer is going to crash and then something else is going to happen. So I'm watching good guys and being like, oh, they got out of that. Oh, they got out of that. And I'm also trying to figure out. I've at this point long since figured out that Racer X is Rex. It's very obvious. They're not trying to hide it really. I mean, they look very like the actors are extremely similar. And so I'm like, the whole time Speed Racer's like, racing with this is like racing with someone that's just like me, like someone that has the same brain as me. It's almost like we're family, like the whole time. And I'm borderline distracted by the fact that he's not just admitting that like this is probably the same guy.
That was in service of showing you how dumb he is still.
Yeah, right. Right. That was just exposition for his lack of intelligence. You're right. I got to show, don't tell. That was too telly for him being dumb.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess I haven't thought about that. I've probably seen Speed Racer half a dozen times in my life. I'll throw it on just to watch it. And so, yeah, for me, I have more time studying what's the word I'm looking for?
It's just hijinks.
Cartoon, hijinks. Tom and Jerry of it all. Like, there's a guy who the Beehive guy shoots it and it lands on himself. It's truly just like Tom and Jerry stuff. So it's just fun to look at all that and just like get a fun chuckle.
I mean, what it reminds me of is pod racing.
That's fair.
It's very pod racing vibes,
but more hijinksy and less.
Yeah, agreed. More hijinksy.
I mean, each
not
team
like that. Yeah, it's definitely more. Okay, yeah, that part's definitely more hijinksy.
Each team has a theme too. That's why it's just like it's just so silly. Like and I like what they're all like bribed. Like the army guys are bribed with just like American dollars, and then the Vikings are like pelts and meat, and like so it's just like very over the top, stereotypical. Like these are the different teams.
Yeah, but it's similar to pod racing in that we're rooting for the guy that's trying to just pure win off of merit and skill kind of thing. And so I think that's what, when I watch a racing thing, that's what my brain is trained to be doing.
Sure.
Lightning McQueen, not that different. Mm-hmm. I think I've seen that movie once, but I don't watch a lot of racing movies. Is that true? I think that's true.
There's F1 came out recently.
No, that's one of the like 2 Best Picture nominees from last year that I have not seen.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, you're like, I only go and watch racing movies. Ford versus Ferrari? You didn't see Ford versus Ferrari? Also Best Picture nom?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one all the way through, I don't think. But the jump sound, like top tier sound for me.
Yeah.
Maybe like top 30 movie sound.
Can you do it for me?
Boom. 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 There's more echo though. Boom. 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 Yeah. Anyways.
Because they're often slowing down.
Yeah. That's true. Lots of good sound effects in this movie. But yeah.
If you want to appreciate the details, it's definitely a rewatch because it's just more, it's like you need the Spider-Man like limiter goggles just to be able to like, if the goal is just to keep up with what's happening, that's like, I'm sorry, I can't, you know what I mean?
I can't care about this beehive and what's happening to Speed Racer emotionally at this moment.
Yeah. I'm so distracted by, he's so dumb. How does he have a driver's license? There's no way he passed the written exam.
I will point out one of my favorite moves that they do is when, I think it's Racer X, they're like doing some stuff. I think someone's jumping over Racer X to attack him and he jumps up, like has his car jump up and he just punches the guy like fist to face.
Yeah.
No cars involved. And then the guy gets knocked out or whatever, gets thrown to the side. But it's just like, just the ridiculousness of it all is fun for me. So
I do love that. I love when, there's 2, spacecraft pilots and it ends up becoming more of like a physical fight because otherwise it's just like, pew pew, like my lasers were stronger than your shield to a great extent than yours were stronger than mine.
Yeah.
That's like conflict in movie is just so much easier to show the stakes of when it's like more personal. So I do really like that too.
Yeah.
And then they did something I didn't love, a guff, if you will. So they, in the middle or like the first third of the movie, Royalton's trying to, schmooze the racers. And he's like, and this is is James Speedster, who won 7 years ago, the reigning champion of whatever. And then we don't see him again until the very end. He's like, you got to come in and take Speed Racer down. And I was like, all right, like you didn't exactly set me up to be like, these are the tactics this guy's famous for. Like he's he plays dirty, or he's actually a stand-up guy that's just getting paid off, or like I didn't know really what to expect. It was kind of like a bait and switch of like in like the physical mano a mano part. This is the antagonist that's going to be going up against him, like, or like the big bad or whatever you want to call him. And so the emotional that didn't totally resonate with me. As much as it probably wanted it to. Yeah,
they try to do a little bit of it, I think, of like him trying to turn down the spear hook and be like, I don't need that. Like, I'm good enough to beat him on my own merit. But like, yeah, I agree. He wasn't developed at all. And even maybe seeing him at the qualifying race in the beach place would be cool to like see how much better he is. And
if he was like a commentator that was like, well, I would have done this turn around that or something. That's like, oh, he's going to come down out of the booth. Like, that's crazy. Like something that would happen in wrestling or something like that.
Yeah. No, that's so a good point.
Yeah, I maybe wanted a little more because the emotional stakes there at the end. I mean, it was cool that he got spear hooked and then he was able to use his car knowledge that we've never seen him utilize before. Sparky's like, you just got to put it in fifth and then activate the hyperdrive, Like,
well, no,
he had a strategy.
Yeah, Sparky doesn't know that, but the Pops does, right? Because he's the one who built it. But yeah, that part is always weird to me and a little bit Deus Machina, a little bit. Yeah. It does. There is a tiny bit in the beginning when he's racing, or this flashback when he's racing with Rex.
Oh, and he's like, feel the car, feel what it needs.
Because that's what Racer X says in the booth, is like, just listen to the car or whatever and that's what he does. But to your point, there's no like build or no like, it doesn't show him learning how to do that's not even a theme of the movie.
Right, exactly.
It's just like,
it's making, in real time, like, did I misunderstand? Is this actually about car? Feeling like, what does that mean? Is that an analogy for something?
It's really a Matrix movie again.
Yeah, it's actually he's Neo and he's gonna do kung fu on the car now.
Yeah, I know. I agree that part does take me out a little bit of it, just because I mean, also neither of us are like those type of people, like feely mealy type of. Well, we're both feely.
We're among the biggest feely mealy guys in the world.
But like feeling stuff like the what's the word that like the mystical side of life,
like woo
woo. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, neither of us are woo woo guys, so it's just like that part is like not gonna resonate with us at all.
I mean, if anything, one of the things I'm most woo woo about is cars. Because I'm like, I don't freaking know how any of this works. So the fact that you do is like magic to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so that's an interesting part. I think we're kind of skipping all around here, but
that's fine. It's flabbergasted.
Something for the one scene I liked of John Goodman's character, Pops, is when after he like gets mad at Speed for sneaking off, and it's decided that he's gonna stay, or Speed tells him, I'm gonna stay. He doesn't sulk at all. It's like one of the more touching moments. He's just like, it feels off, right? Like it's like, yeah, it pulls to the right or whatever. It's like, yeah, they did stuff to it. And then he goes down to the garage and like fixes it, like without any more discussion. He says like, Sparky. And then they both go down and work on it. Like that's like the biggest show of love for him, of like, okay, like I'm going to support you in this race and we're going to make sure you can win.
And it goes to his love of racing. I mean, that we saw in the flashback.
Yeah, and their connection to each other.
Yeah.
And
that's, I mean, to whatever extent this is a movie about like the father-son relationship, father-son, brother-brother, like the kind of family bonds. I think my mom and I have that a little bit with the Pacers. I mean, you've got those things, at our age, when you get, if you don't live like, right by your parents or whatever, it's just like, well, we connect on these few things. We keep in touch about that, like besides just the fact that we're family. And they're both passionate about it, and it's good. I think it's good to have passions as John Goodman is in his late 40s maybe in that movie. So he's not like so old that it's like, hey, you should get a hobby, old timer necessarily, but
yeah, he's still working full time. He's running Racer Motors.
Being passionate about things, I think, is always good.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that you're into, you should be passionate about it. Pursue it well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Speed Racer's about.
Honestly, that was one of the themes I had was like passion over profit, like is one theme that's within the movie of just like, they're talking about how Racer Motors are probably going to go under after all this happens or whatever, but they're still going to do what they think is what they're passionate about. And not work for somebody else and things like that. So
doing things the right way is going to get you the profit that you actually deserve in the end, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
In 2026, that does feel a little Pollyanna. Like there are days when I'm like, something's going to happen, and there will be people in power that do stand up because there are good people in the world, and it's like the evidence. The evidence is rough. The evidence we have around us is rough. Like, because I think this movie is at its core optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
The sister does turn in the incriminating information, and Speed does manage to overcome cheating and still win the race. Like the good guys win.
Yeah.
At the expense of, like you said, just pure profit.
Yeah, and I think that,
and we just and that's I think that's nice. It's nice to see that.
Mm-hmm. I think that is something that I do think it's a trend. It's not only the case, but I do feel like media more recently is less the good guys win and more nuanced, which there's definitely good positives about that because life is not black and white. But I do think I don't know what's chicken or what's horse and cart, but I do think
the classic chicken versus horse and cart.
Yeah. I think it's more chicken where there seems to be less just optimism and hope in our culture.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like I said, I don't know if media has fed that or if that has fed media or both.
Yeah.
But regardless, I miss some of that late 90s, early noughts, like optimism that we had. Even like the slogans for presidential, like Obama's first term was hope, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And so it's just like, that is not what we're like. No people in power are leading towards that.
Right.
Really.
The slogan now is like, you won't have to see brown people.
Yeah. Well, even Make America Great Again is like a look to the past,
compared to what?
Something, right? Like it's all looking backwards, or even just like opposition of what's happening. It's nothing's ever like to a brighter future.
Yeah.
Either no one in power. This is like, I know this is not a non-political podcast, but just to make it net neutral, like it's all. Everyone's doing that. So
you've never seen me out here caping for the Hillary Clinton version of like middle left like liberal type of stuff. Yeah, for sure. Agreed. Yeah, that's a lot of the difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, or the right and the left, or however whichever nomenclature you prefer. Is that people on the right are like, well, we got to support our guy because if your guy was in power, we'd do the same thing. I'm like, you misunderstand. I don't like any of the Democrats either. They're like, well, if we're going to release the list, there's going to be Democrats on there. I'm like, yep, I'm sure. Please put them in jail. Yeah. Like that's so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kind of like identity politics aspect.
Yeah.
That there's miscommunication about because it's not the same on both sides.
Yeah,
I do. I think I comfortably land on the side of that the art reflects the culture and as opposed to driving it. But you have things like, I'm sure you saw Project Hail Mary.
Mm-hmm. That's more recently than you probably think, but yes.
That's what you're talking about. It like hopeful. The optimism. Yeah, mm-hmm. that's hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
For it's like that's awards race season. Come awards race season, that's going to be kind of what's leveraged against it. I would imagine is like
right.
Okay, this is a little bit candy coated type of thing.
And that's what I guess I don't. Yeah, it's a movie. But
you're saying that doesn't have to be a negative.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
It's a movie. It's supposed to, like, I shouldn't say supposed to. It can be unrealistic.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie.
It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. And it doesn't make it less art or less That's my
Agreed.
complaint about some more artistic stances or even some cinephiles. I'm just like, it's
Sadder doesn't equal better.
right. Sadder's a bit better. Certain perspectives aren't more valuable than other perspectives. Not saying we shouldn't have all perspectives in media, but it's just like trying to figure out like what makes a good movie as like it doesn't. It's more about, and I'm not saying Speed Racer is like a best. I'm not. This is going outside of this singular movie, but I'm just saying like, yeah, I want more. I want Joseph Nishimoto wants more hope in movies.
Yeah.
And I don't like that when that happens, they seem to get a bad grade from, even if I think, and obviously I have subjective points of views, but I think even if it's like a good movie, but then has a hope, like a positive, like you're saying, Project Hail Mary, like great acting, like everything is just so good in that movie. But if it's getting any down talk about, oh, well, that couldn't, like, where's the reality of it all? It's like, well, it's a movie. Like we just, it's okay that we can end on a high note. But
yeah, it not taking itself as seriously as the Odyssey, you know, is a
right.
It could be a ding against it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, Project Hail Mary got rave reviews and like, I mean, it's not like, you know, it's not like this was a great movie where people were just jerks about it. Like necessarily, I don't know that it will win Best Picture, but like Best Actor, you know, I mean, it's going to be, it'll probably be nominated honestly for Best Picture.
Right.
I mean, 10 movies get nominated now, so yeah, I understand what you're saying because that if it's even though the art is reflective, I think of the cultural trends. The hope and the optimism can be potentially a little bit of an antidote, a little bit solution driven. I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time, easily, is It's a Wonderful Life. You know, I mean, which is just the good, you know, the hope in community, communal hope, and coming together for the greater good, and that's what man will do. Despite, I mean, Potter says, "Oh, go to this guy, go to that guy. They're all, you know, people are never going to look out for each other." I mean, it's the entire message of the movie. It's about people will look out for each other. It's basically a movie about socialism.
A little bit.
I don't know if that's why I love it. I don't think so. Maybe.
I mean, I don't think so. From what you just said, I would say no, because for you, it's not just the financial aspect, which would be more,
sure,
or like the resource aspect. It's more like we just care about each other because we're all humans in this thing together.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, I think socialism is more just the economic side of things. So I don't think that's necessarily the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, like we should share resources because, you know, the people who aren't necessarily providing capitalistic value still deserve to live, you know, is kind of part of the point of socialism too. So Speed Racer, I think I would watch again. I would like it to be on a bit of a crisper screen. And I think I would like to start it earlier in the day, like if not being tired, so like to be a little bit more focused in.
Sure.
But I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I hoped you would. I did think it was a little bit below your intellectual stimulatingness of movies that you desire.
It's just, I think it's just a tone. It's just, the tone is, I mean, there's serious stuff that happens. And I think the themes are pretty serious. It's just like action-y comedy stuff just isn't what I gravitate towards. Yeah. And so you're like, it doesn't slap you in the face as it's going to be like, they made this for Rogie. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Rachel and I saw The Brutalist when we were the only two people in the theater. And
in Warsaw?
Yeah, correct. I saw Honora like 2 weeks later at like a 9:00 showing on a Saturday night, I think, by myself in that theater. And Honora, of the movies that you could go to, one that I don't love walking out of completely alone as a man in my mid-30s is Honora. Did I get? I don't think I even got it. I didn't go get a refill. I didn't want to see them to see me walking back in. Yeah. I really appreciate having you on, Joseph. We loved your perspective here on the show. Folks, if you want to hear more from Joseph, if you have thoughts on Speed Racer, if you have a particularly favorite, you said they were the Foxy Girls?
think so.
If you have a
Something like
favorite
that.
Foxy girl. If you disagree and you think there's only one stereotypically Japanese company that is featured in the plot of Speed Racer, we'd love to hear from you. You can find our link tree situation on social media, on Instagram or YouTube or probably Facebook. And we'd love to hear from you. And because the more that we hear from you, the wider our reach grows. And if you have other movies that you can't believe that I haven't watched and you're just flabbergasted, we'll always take suggestions. Joseph, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Goodbye.